A longer reading to begin this morning. I think I owe it to Langston Hughes to read it in its entirety. From 1935, Let America Be America Again. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush weak. I'm the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient, endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own good. I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I'm the worker sold to the machine. I'm the Negro servant to you all. I am the people, hungry, humble, mean. Hungry yet today, despite the dream, beaten yet today. Oh, pioneers, I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker, bartered through the years. Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home, for I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore, and Poland's plain, and England's grassy lay, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me, surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay. For all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has yet been, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must bring back our mighty dream again. Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. from those who live like leeches on the people's lives. We must take back our land again, America. Oh yes, I say it plain, America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the lands, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again. And make America again. You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. None of us fell out of a coconut tree, except for Tom. It was Kamala Harris's mother, Shyamala Gopalan, who said that to her. Shyamala and Harris's father, Donald Harris, they met through UC Berkeley here at an African American Studies group. A group she helped to start, a group out of which members would go on to help start the Black Panther Party. Two immigrants coming to pursue some dream that has kept alive somehow over 2 centuries of what America could be. Attempting to weave out of the legacy of colonialism, both of these immigrants coming from British colonies, a new fabric of freedom to weave their stories into the American story. In 1943, the United States War Department began to publish a series of educational pamphlets for the U.S. soldiers in the European theater of war, World War II. They were titled Army Talks, and they said that the series was, quote, designed to help the personnel become better informed men and women and therefore better soldiers. The historian Heather Cox Richardson recently shared about this pamphlet in one of her newsletters. She said on March 24th, 1945, the topic for the week was all capitals, exclamation mark, fascism. It began, you are away from home, separated from your families, no longer at a civilian job or at school, and many of you are risking your very lives because of a thing called fascism. Fascism is not the easiest thing to identify and analyze, nor once in power is it easy to destroy. It is important for our future and that of the world that as many of us as possible understand the causes and practices of fascism in order to combat it. This is the U.S. military. Fascism, the pamphlet went on, treats women as mere breeders. Children, kitchen, and the church was the Nazi slogan for women. Fascists make their own rules and change them when they choose. They maintain themselves in power by use of force combined with propaganda based on primitive ideas of blood and race, by skillful manipulation of fear and hate, and by false promise of security. The propaganda glorifies war and insists it is smart and realistic to be pitiless and violent. Every successful authoritarian political movement that we've seen in the world has relied on these tactics. Focus on purity of identity for those who belong, and stoking fear of an outsider group who are demonized and blamed for all of the troubles of the in-group. We know this, right? I'm not sharing any news, but I think it's good to name these things aloud. Americans should not be fooled into thinking that fascism could not come to America, the pamphlet warned. After all, quote, we once laughed Hitler off as a harmless little clown with a funny mustache. Remember the story of the beer hall putsch that I learned the week of January 6th, 2021? You know about the beer hall putsch? So the putsch is the German word for coup. And beer halls, of course, are the great big gathering place, the public house. And so in one such beer hall in Munich in 1923, Hitler and a small band of nutty extremists, they staged what turned out to be a failed coup. Hitler's hope that the army and the police would be swept up in the excitement of his national rhetoric was overblown, and after a night of confusion, the whole thing was over. 16 Nazis dead and all ridiculed, the whole clownish effort widely ridiculed as a charade. Whenever I think of that attempted coup on January 6th, I think of how clownish it looked. Those images of the QAnon shaman and the furs, the paint, the absurdity of this disorganized mob thinking they could overthrow the election. Hitler was arrested a couple days later after that coup and used the public trial to stoke fires of nationalism. He was ultimately sentenced to 5 years, of which he only had to serve 9 months in prison, time he used to write Mein Kampf. And of course, we all know the end of this story, that a decade after that failed, clownish beer hall putsch, the Nazis finally took power in 1933. The pamphlet acknowledged that the U.S. had experienced sorry instances of mob sadism, lynchings, vigilantism, terror, and suppression of civil liberties, right here in our country. It said we've had our hooded gangs, black legions, silver shirts, and racial and religious bigots. All of them, in the name of Americanism, have used undemocratic methods and doctrines which can be properly identified as fascist. There has always been a fascist thread in the American story. As Langston Hughes famously pointed out, for many years we called it Jim Crow, which of course is very literally the model that the Nazis used for their template as a vision for society, the U.S. anti-miscegenation laws as inspiration for their own laws that were still in effect in some states when this military pamphlet was written. And so the War Department thought it was important for Americans to understand the tactics fascists would use to take power in the United States. They would try to gain power under the guise of super-patriotism and super-Americanism. And they would use 3 techniques. This is what Heather Cox Richardson elaborates. They would pit religious and racial and economic groups against one another to break down national unity. A well-planned hate campaign against minorities, races, religions, and other groups, the pamphlet said. Second, they would deny any need for international cooperation because that would fly in the face of their insistence that their supporters were better than everybody else. In place of international cooperation, it said, the fascists seek to substitute a perverted sort of ultranationalism which tells their people that they are the only people in the world who count. With this goes hatred and suspicion toward the people of all other nations. And third, fascists would insist that the world has but two choices, either fascism or communism, and they label as communists everyone who refuses to support them. You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you. It concluded, this pamphlet, that it's vitally important to learn to spot native fascists. Even though they adopt names and slogans with popular appeal, drape themselves in the American flag, and attempt to carry out their program in the name of the democracy they are trying to destroy. The only way to stop the rise of fascism in the United States, the document said, is by making our democracy work and by actively cooperating to preserve world peace and security. What I think that the writers of that pamphlet were unable to see, to understand at the time, is that making democracy work and actively cooperating to preserve world peace and security were not enough. Allowing an economic system to exacerbate vast inequality and a racist colonialist worldview to destroy cultural identities rooted in something deeper than materialism is what has enabled the forces of fascism to amass enough power that we are facing the very real possibility of their taking over the American state. So yeah, I'm scared. And I know many of you are too. I'm scared for teachers at my child's Spanish immersion elementary school who are afraid their families could be rounded up, sent to detention camps, and deported. I'm scared for our queer families and neighbors whose very existence threatens the patriarchal paradigm underlying the fascist ideology. I'm scared for women being denied essential health care. I know you're scared, and I'm scared too. I didn't think of myself as a very brave kid growing up. Growing up, I got the idea that bravery was about kind of a reckless bravado, a determination to take risks no matter what the cost, proof of manhood or something, a defiance of the parts of ourselves we have labeled as weak. When bravery is understood as a forceful overcoming of weakness, it becomes a hollow show, a mask that tries to hide the very reality of human fragility and loses touch with the body in all its vulnerability and wisdom. This week, thinking about bravery, I know it as a choice that begins in the belly, as a capacity to stay in touch with whatever fears and uncertainties roil in the gut, while widening the awareness to include curiosity and desire. It is a decision to take risks in the service of vision. A determination to fight for what one values and accept the consequences, claiming as one's own the struggle necessary for growth. Whatever happens on Tuesday, and the days and weeks that follow, for we know we may well not know the results of this election for some time to come. We do know, whatever happens, that the threat of fascism is real and alive in this country. And overcoming it will take moments of bravery from all of us in the months and years to come. Valerie Kaur's prayer, a Sikh prayer for America, a prayer she wrote days after the 2016 election, has been on my mind and my heart. She said, "The future is dark, but my faith dares me to ask, what if this darkness is not the darkness of the tomb, but the darkness of the womb? What if our America is not a dead country, but a country still waiting to be born? What if the story of America is one long labor? What if all the mothers who came before us, who survived genocide and occupation, slavery and Jim Crow, racism and xenophobia and Islamophobia, political oppression and sexual assault, what if they are all standing behind us now, whispering in our ear, "You are brave"? What if this is our great contraction before we birth a new future? Remember the wisdom of the midwife. She says, "Breathe." Then she says, "Push." Valerie Kaur says, "Now it is time to breathe, but soon it will be time to push. Soon it will be time to fight for those we love: Muslim father, Sikh son, trans daughter, indigenous brother, immigrant sister, white worker, the poor and forgotten, the ones who cast their vote out of resentment and fear. Let us make an oath to fight for the soul of America, the land that never has been yet and yet must be, with revolutionary love and relentless optimism." And so, she says, I pray this Sikh prayer, Nanak Naam Chardi Kala Tere Bane Sarbat Dabla, in the name of the divine, in the name of love within us and around us. We find everlasting optimism. Within your will, may there be grace for all humanity. So let's remember to breathe this week. Whatever happens in this election, let's remember we are threads in a deeper story than any one election or political moment. Let us reach deep and remember all those ancestors whose hands and cows lay at our shoulders. All those shoulders on which we stand, who fought for a vision of extending life's liberties, embrace further and further, who conspired to make equality the air we breathe. In the months and years to come, bravery will be asked of us. Breathe, she says, then push. May it be so, and amen.